What's up, everybody? This is Tell It How It Is, No Filter, episode 152. I'm your host, How You Stop Him, aka Hush, aka Unstoppable Hush, aka No Noise, aka Voice of Reason, aka Promise You There's No More AKAs after that. What's going on? How's everybody feeling? How we doing out here? We want winter to be over. Well, I know I do. You know, it's not the worst, but I'm ready to be back comfortable. Maybe just long sleeve. Not so much getting to the thick of summer. Just like the long sleeve hoodie, back to the hoodie season. You know, where it got a little nip, but not crazy. You know, these temperatures are fluctuating crazy. It's getting people sick. It's going to happen in the different areas. But I'm not here to be an astrologist or deal with the weather. I think astrologist is way off. My bad. I'm feeling loose cannon today. I'm in good spirits. Normally that's the case, but I'm a little more in better spirits because, you know, I woke up today, and that is always a reason to be up in spirit, up in energy. So this is how we vibing today. I'm gonna dig right in. The current events is rare, a little bit. Not rare, is minimum. I just want to update the NFL. What a hell of a division round weekend. So we had a couple of upsets. Bengals beat the Titans. And San Francisco beat the Packers. The Titans-Bengals, to me, was like a tight matchup, so that doesn't surprise me as much. The Niners, what they did to the Packers, that surprised me. It wasn't a massacre, but it was very contained. And, you know, Aaron Rodgers usually is high offensive. So for that total score, that was crazy for me. Then we close out with the Rams beating Tom Brady. Sorry, Tom. I mean, you got one in Tampa Bay already. You may have to just sit on that, and that might be it. But it won't be surprising if I see him come back again for another season. I don't know the contract. He has to probably come back. But that may be it. Not 100 on that. And then the only favorite for the weekend to pull it out, and barely did, was the Chiefs. That might have been the best game of the weekend. It's arguable with the Rams-Bucks game because the Chiefs and the Bills are a problem. Shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? They got some weapons. Josh Allen, shout out to him, a young quarterback. I mean, Mahomes is young too, but this boy Josh, he gonna be a problem for years to come. We will be talking about him. So shout out to the Bills, even in defeat. It went to OT. It was, oh man, it was I was off the edge of the seat with it. So that's the NFL updates. Again, like I said, I didn't really do too much. Nothing else grabbed my attention in the headlines outside of that. Charles Barkley, be careful. I hate talking crazy about the Lakers. Yes, they are doing under expectation play. They are not where they're supposed to be. They're not where I expect them to be. But be careful. I know you're shaking shit up a little bit. Easy, tranquilo. Like, that's your field. You're supposed to comment as you see fit. I'm not really coming at you. I'm just saying. Any team that got LeBron on it, it's not kick a hole. You know what I mean? Like, chill. I'm not saying they're going to win the chip. I'm just saying chill. Chill out. You know, it really is the day and age of as long as you make the playoffs, there's always an arguable chance. So unless they're eliminated from the playoffs, then, feel me? So I'm not calling it. You know, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying if there's still a chance to make the playoffs, easy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know Anthony Davis' status if he comes back at all or not. So take it easy. I'm curious I don't want to kind of be hypocritical based on me defending Kyrie Irving and the whole vaccination mandate and all that, and how he just plays away games, and with Durant being out. That doesn't really rattle me right there. What I'm concerned is when the playoffs kick off, I need Kyrie in all of the games. So that's not to say he should fold, but what's going to happen then? That's what I'm curious. Are they just going to leave it the way it is so he can't? Come on, if the Nets make the finals, I need him in every game. If they make the finals. But we got to deal with that later, I guess. Okay, so because I got a couple of joints to talk about, that's why I didn't really go in with the current events and all the shit I normally set it off with. So I'm going to just dive right in and see how much I can unpack. First, no sugarcoating, no tippy-toeing. Men, fellas, you need time to heal from a relationship as well. The way women and men approach this is totally different in a lot of cases. Women, I don't even really want to attempt this segment. I'm just going to deal with the fellas. Fellas, when you get out of a relationship, and it don't matter, women, whatever, have your judgment on it. I don't mean, it doesn't matter if you was the reason, you was not the reason. It's always takes two to tangle. People are involved, you know what I'm saying? So it's never really one-sided. I don't care what story you have behind the breakup. It's not 100% one-sided. Something, you know what I mean? So whatever. So fellas, if you were the extreme reason and you're getting blamed for the 100% reason that this relationship did not work, or if it's fair, like y'all both seen that it was not working, however you place it, you need time to heal. So I want you to mentally know that for yourself. Now, I don't know how you can stress it enough when dating. That's why maybe you need to take a longer break. But I know men, for the most part, we want to get our rocks off. I can't even put a date on that. How soon after a breakup we already want to get our rocks off. You know what I mean? We're not looking for a relationship. We just want to, you know what I mean? So call that what you want. You may say that's immature. You may say that's just like animalistic, whatever. Fellas, you gotta tread light here, because when dealing with females, and it could go both ways, but it's not about both ways today. Like I said, I'm basically targeting guys today. So fellas, our performance, our demeanor, our energy, after a breakup, the next person we encounter, I don't know if it's by default or if it's even a guaranteed every time, but if we're pretty lit on our good days, if we're pretty lit on our good days, in our better moods, when we come off of some shit like that, the performance could enhance. I highly doubt there's a lot of numbers where the guy's performance and swagger drops. It can. The breakup could have really done some damage. I won't say never. But what I'm saying is, when a guy puts his mind to something, if he's chasing some physical relief, his performance may excel. So I'm saying all of this to say, fellas, be careful, because when you deal with the next person right after this, they may not listen to what you say. They may go off of your actions. So I'm not saying you're going to be like extraordinary nice or fall right away. You might. And it's just some shit you want to chill and parlay with. And this person involved may not interpret that the right way. I mean, you can sit there and break down everything. Listen, I just got out of this relationship. You know what I mean? I'm chilling. I need a moment. I need to, you know what I mean? So verbally you can say that, but you gotta back that up with the action. So and it depends on the individual you're dealing with, because there's some ground rules people will try to tell you on how to be. You kind of gotta be a little standoffish, not rudely. You gotta kind of like have the rules, like I say, and stick to them. There's a couple of don't do's. You know what I mean? But it's sad because I feel like in this day and age, you should be able to verbalize what you're doing and how you're moving, and to an extent, your actions shouldn't overrule that. But I can get how it gets a little twisted. So, fellas, I don't know if you have to write this down, use the memo pad in your phone, your notes in your phone, text yourself or whatever. You kind of got to coach yourself through, especially not to like mislead anyone. Because again, this whole purpose is you need healing. You out probably just having fun doing you because you might have been real content and real, you know, locked in to your situation. Or more so than you would, obviously, if you weren't in a relationship. So be very careful how you're moving. But again, the overall message here is that you need time to heal. Don't be in denial of that. So if you do have some fun and it's really good, you know, it seems like it's moving in a direction that's helping you feel better. It's making you feel more confident. More like, damn, you know, this is what I was missing. This is what I'm talking about right here. That could be the moment. It could very well be temporary. It's like a relief. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain medicines can give you relief. It don't take away the whole thing. So just be very mindful and don't get caught up in that. Easier said than done, I know. But just try. Try to analyze, move strategically, and be as mindful as you can. I may come back to touch more on that. Let's jump because, like I said, I got a few. So next, somewhat kind of piggybacking, but that's if you remain in this relationship. So there are relationships where there's kids, right? Whether married or not. Fellas, sorry ladies. If you see that the relationship is over first, or you're just as energetic as your partner when they realize that the relationship is over, either way, you are no hesitation ready to walk out, and you walk out or you leave, and there's a kid involved, it may get dicey. Unless you can honestly say that was a neutral decision all around the board. I say that to say it's so unpredictable how shit goes, man. You know, you get with somebody, whatever y'all do, whether y'all get married or not, y'all have this child or children. And it's so unpredictable that when the relationship goes left, what's gonna happen moving forward? And it's sad and I hate it because I feel like more times than none, it's not gonna go smooth. It's not. Which raises the question of the whole joking phrase of cheaper to keeper and people staying in relationships because of kids. Because it's difficult. I get why it's a debate. I get why that may cross your mind. Because, man, if you're used to being in your kid's life every day, and that's because you're in a relationship, which is the normal structure. You should have somebody that you've chosen and y'all had kids and y'all are together. and the kid gets both parents. That's the normal functionable structure. Unfortunately, it does not go that way all the time. And my fear for my fellow brothers is that that may not go smooth. So, I'm not waving the white flag here. I'm not saying to stay. I'm not saying give in. Just, it's tough, man. And I want to kind of salute you prior to even getting into that type of scenario, because it's tough. And it will be tough. It may remain tough throughout your child's younger years. It may take till the child is 18 plus, ironically, the end of child support if that's in it. It may take till then for things to finally, it's like however old the child is, it's like that year's in storms. Like a storm that just, it won't go, the clouds won't part, the sun will not come out. It's tough, man. It's tough. And I don't like for the fellas that want to partake and be all in for the raising of this child, and gotta either tippy toe or be like submissive too much just to get partial respect, just to get partial involvement. And it's always the guys and the fellas that care, that the partner knows they care, even if they don't always make the best approach, even if they're not doing it to the liking and to the satisfaction of the mother. You know good intent. You know good intent. And there's no blueprint for parenting. So the criticism doesn't help. Good intentions is enough if you're willing to work and willing to be mature and grown up about it. So I feel like all the good intent brothers out there mostly get the short end of the stick. You can't do this to a mofo that don't care. I judge that differently. I still don't want him to get the venom, but some of them need a wake-up call, true. So I don't know. This is just a moment to kind of like say I understand the pain. I salute you for trying. And damn, it's hard. But you know what? When that child does get of said age, that's when your comeback begins. You got to just remain positive and feel like you're going to live on this earth, hopefully, long enough, double the time that you were not able to have that hands-on with your kid, that you will once the child is early adult, young adult, and on. That's the goal. You just have to be here because it's tough again. I'm going to add another obstacle. Yes, when the child is growing up, youth, adolescent, and all of that, those are the important years. There's no doubt about that. And that's when they probably needed you most. You can't fight and stress though, because if you're not in a calm, positive, happy mental state, you no good anyway. You no good. So here's where you kind of got to balance out selfishness and involvement. So the selfishness is you have to mentally be right. So whatever that takes to get you to 100, even if that's time away from the kid, even though that's time away from being the friggin' puppet for the mother, I'm sorry. It's going to get a little crazy in here today. I may not get to the third topic because this is delicate, but I'm not going to tread light on this. This is a bunch of bullshit because, fellas, you got to get right. You got to get right, and the animosity you may have inside, you have to let go. You have to let go because they're winning. That's that devil shit. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta let go. There's nothing you can do. I mean, there's some things you can do. There's gonna be the fellas that's gonna tell you, fuck that, fight every day. Fight the whole entire time. Back and forth to court. Back and, your rights. Keep receipts. And, check it out. All that is cool. All that is dandy. I'm not saying if you ready to bang, bang. I'm just saying everybody's not on that type of time. And it's draining. Us men, we have ego, we have pride, where we feel we're invincible. And we may be stronger than people could assume. But eventually it wears on you. So if you was rough and tough and you cracked through and you able to, it was like almost an immediate effect and you kind of have your way as far as your child goes, dope. So I don't discourage you from that. If your initial game plan and your warlike mentality and you ready to bang for yours, if it has an immediate effect, no doubt, salute to you. But for the ones who maybe they didn't get their game plan together sharp enough, fast enough, and now you just in the shit now, where any kind of rebellious war, it's going to be back and forth for a minute. I'm not saying to gracefully bow out. I'm saying you got to try another approach, a different strategy. You got to kind of let shit be, man. You make your attempts, no doubt. Maybe that you keep documentation of, or, smartphones keep shit forever for the most part. So, texting more than convo, I would say. The conversations you need to do as well, but that's not as recorded unless you have recording capabilities where the conversations are recorded. But you see, text messages can be real good evidence. So you throw your humility shit that way in your attempts to communicate, in your attempts to co-parent. You know what I mean? But again, that shit is tough, bro. I mean, it can really take you there. And I'm talking to the fellas because I don't want you to take it there. There's the worst of the worst that has happened. You've seen it. We've seen in the news. We've seen it. Guys losing it. And what? Offing the parent. Offing the child even. Like, where you think this comes from? Yes, that person wasn't mentally stable. No, they were not right in their actions at all. And that's what I'm trying to say about the whole humility. And don't be in that rah, 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 because you may do something you regret. Because it's not up to you to decide the fate of another individual, especially the one you had a child with. It's easy to get beat up and say, well, you chose to lay with this person and have a child. Yes, you did make that decision. But that's still the mother of your child. So as much as shit is not clicking and it may not go right, for your kids' sake, they need their mother as well as their father. As much as you may disagree with a lot of the shit that's going down, keep peace and love in your heart for that aspect of it, because your child needs it. And that's how you kind of even out when they try to call you selfish. As far as when I told you, you got to get yourself right. You got to be happy. So I'm trying to prevent that, because I know how you can just go off the roof, or 0 to 60, 0 to 100 like that, because of shit that the parent is doing to spite you, to make you suffer for whatever reason. And I don't want to hear it. There's a lot of bullshit behind, when you hear the other side of the story. It's like, oh, they weren't being intentional. They weren't. That's a whole bunch of hoopla. I just made that up, but that's a whole bunch of bull, for real. Because again, genuine when you see it. Stop using the fucking relationship to be a catalyst for the fucking hell you gonna put through and make this co-parenting thing more difficult than it need to be. And everybody got an opinion. Assholes. That's what it is. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. But fellas, please try to keep the humility part. Again, it's not forever. It's not easy. And the longer the gaps are, the more hurtful it is. You know, if you only got to go through a week or two of some bullshit, then you get through, but it's repetitive, versus the ones who have to go a long time without interaction with their kid. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I recently spoke on it. I don't want to put him out there, but he know who, and I feel for you. And I was able to relate, and I was able to like actually bring myself up out the darkness because of how positive he was. And he went through way more than anything I discussed with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what actually motivated this conversation right here. And you know what? Whatever. You take it how you take it. I'm just saying, this is for the fellas. This is for the guys that want to see their kids, that want to be in their kids' life, and it just seems to be so difficult. And I had a podcast on this before. This was more when I was just more audio. You didn't get a visual of this. And I spoke with another brother of mine. And it never ends. So it's not a subject that I can't revisit because it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Because I said too, vice versa this. You know what I'm saying? Like if the court systems and today's day and age, you know, the father could be more dominant and gain custody almost off rip. Would he put this partner through this? Would he put the other parent through this? There's some that would, because I ain't gonna just co-sign all men, because some men do be on that bullshit with this whole co-parenting thing, and maybe that's the karma, and maybe that's the fucking playing field to say, well, let's even it out. For the motherfuckers who really are deadbeats, for the motherfuckers who play and don't want to step the fuck up, the ones that do gotta suffer, fuck the fair part. This is some bullshit. But if we were able to just strongly get custody in most cases, would we put the woman through this? I highly doubt it. Again, I'm not saying no case, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. And even with the numbers and like I said, things with child support being involved, hey, you gotta pay. The same fucking way we gotta pay. So that part probably stings a little, but then when it comes to anything you request, you could get it. We're not, see, the thing about men, the men that are vindictive, the men that are damaged and you would have to worry about, you gotta see how they growing up was. Where was their parents? How strong was their mother? You know what I mean? No shots fired, just a fact. Because it's not a man masculine trait to be malicious and vindictive like that when it comes to shit this delicate. The raising of a kid, I can hate your guts, but if I have sole custody or if I have the majority of that and I get this most say, I don't have malicious in me. I don't have vindictive shit in me because the relationship didn't work, that you can't have any and all access to your child. I need your help. Men, we may not say this, ladies. We may not on a daily basis admit this. We need you. There's nothing like the love of a mother for a child, son or daughter. So I need your help. So fuck a relationship. Let's do this. Let's do this. You may say, yeah, some guys are going to nitpick at certain shit and be a fucking dick on purpose because they're hurt. I think that time would be shorter. Because if a man gets custody of his kid, he don't like the way the relationship went down. Suppose the lady cheated and she did all kind of wild shit, had him looking crazy. He may be bitter for a minute and do some underhanded shit. But if the child is under 10 or 10, 11, 12, he not going to be on that type of time till the kid grow up. I highly doubt that. There's a percentage that might. But ladies, you got to let that shit go. Because that's more selfish than anything. I don't give a fuck. If you step up and you play mom and dad and you just that spiteful and you got to do it your way and you want to be mom and dad and the kid does come out solid, dope. But why? Why? That's that unnecessary. If you don't have to, why? There's some mothers that the father, God forbid, is dead, in jail. Fine, then step up and do that shit. That's when your hand is forced. And you have to. But if the father is breathing, free as a bird, and he wants to be involved, so what if it's not to your exact liking? If he wants to partake and be involved, it can grow. You know, it can start small where it's not how you want it to be, but it's allowance and opening up and saying, you know what? I'll take it. Let's see if you can step that up every year, every couple of months. You know, it can get there. And it's not for you. It's like, you know, the child can take that and still become amazing because the time he spends, or daughter or son, the time he spends with his father, the time he spends with his mother, that still equals something great because he has both. Versus you being spiteful, so you limiting the time that they could see you, and all the time is spent on the. That's only one point of view. That's one track minded because you can't be great at both sides. If you have to, I'm not trying to get spiritual and religious right here. If you have to, because your hand is forced. Again, God forbid the other parent, the father is dead or in jail. You gotta. But if you don't have to do it alone, or you don't have to be this spiteful fucking bitch, sorry, to try to say I got it. Why would you? So fellas, I kind of like rode for us today and to say that was the venting. You know, if you have friends or other relatives or whoever that you can relate to with this subject and vent to, because I know it's easier said than done. There's things that's gonna upset you, but try to contain it as much as possible. You got to stay focused because when you are able to see a child, when you do interact, you got to be on your A game. They got to see that they missing out because my dad is solid. That's what you want your kid to say. Damn, you know, he's pretty much solid. That way when they get big and they could really come holler, then you can tell your story. Then you can vent all of that out if you want to. If the child has questions, which they might, fuck that might. They will. And again, as much as I had the venom and it sounded like I was going at the mothers, again, that's their mother. That's your child's mother. They need them. So even when you get to explain yourself, I would refrain from the bashing if you can. As much as possible, do not even tear that woman down in front of your child at all. It doesn't really help. The child knows the vibes. The child's going to know. So try to refrain from that. Try to refrain from getting emotional, upset, and doing something stupid that you can't take back. Easier said than done. Take it a day at a time. I know it ain't easy. This may get a continuation. Fellas, I'm rooting for you. Dads out there that want to be involved, keep trying the best way you know how. But it starts with you. Remain solid. Remain 100. Keep humility. Breathe. Vent. Talk to somebody. Try to hold it down. Your time will come. Your child will see the greatness in you. Peace.